Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. How is everybody? Awesome, that's good to hear. I am back after the Oz convention last weekend. It was a fun and busy weekend. If you haven't checked it out, the videos are being slowly released on the Oz Club's official channel, um, which is just the Oz Club. So definitely check them out. The live Oz talk happened. If you joined, thank you. If you didn't join, you can still go watch. It was a lot of fun. Had a real good time. So, we're back. I have a tiny little itty bitty bit of haul. We've got whip updates. We've got whip go to discuss. Yeah. So we got a lot. We got good Q&A. So my first question comes from Holly. She asks, "Are you going to finish The Little Dove Wizard of Oz?" My answer to that is a tentative yes. As y'all saw with my first two parts that I completed, it's a phenomenal amount of work because I'm doing a ton of recharting to it. So I'm waiting until it's all out, and then I'm going to go in and rechart, and then I'll pick it back up. But it needed so much that I decided I'd rather wait and just rechart after it's all out. Which we're getting close. And I may actually go ahead and try and get Tin Man Lion and the Witch recharted. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned for more. Rainy Day Stitcher asks a really good question. She says, "How do you pick the fabrics for your project? I love the bright colors you often choose." So one of the things that I look at, first off, is what colors are in the piece. Because if it's a super heavy blue piece, I'm going to be less likely to want to use a blue fabric. The next thing I look at is usually the feel of a piece, and what sort of colors it pulls out of me when I look at it and think of it. So, in the case of, let's see. So, and sometimes I do get more specific. So, for instance, where's a good example that I can give you? With casting a spell, I looked at it and I thought, well, this is beautiful and it's purple and it feels kind of witchy, and the bag that Rob sent was also kind of witchy, and I thought, this would act, and it just sort of hit me that it was the right size for casting a spell, because I don't necessarily like doing things on neutrals all the time. I have a lot of neutrals, I do like using neutrals, but there are certain things and vibes that I get. So the purples I always think of as being more Halloween-y, more witchy, spooky. So that was what prompted me for that one. Plus, the colors in this bag, like I said, are fairly similar. In the case of, say, the Satsuma Mystery Wizard, she designed it on a light green, and I thought, you know what, with Jodie's color theory that she's got, let's just go with what she did. That's the easiest. In some cases, it's because of a specific vibe or setting. Sometimes I choose blue if there's a lot of sky and it's sort of a grounded piece. In the case of Woodland Faerie, I went with a metallic green because I wanted that foresty vibe. And then every once in a while, you just see a piece of fabric and you go, oh my gosh, this would be absolutely perfect for this design. Case in point, what I'm using for Alice in Wonderland by Al Forrest. So sometimes like I said, sometimes it's a vibe. I do look at the colors. Probably the piece I was the most specific with was Anne Frank. That's the one by Gera. Because here it is. Oh, I've got a ring light now that I was using, and is that? Oh, that's actually, no, that still kind of washes it out. It makes me look good. It makes the fabric look terrible. That didn't help it any. Okay. Ring light bright. Okay, so it's on this very lovely purple. It shows up much more. Let's see what happens if I hold up something and find it. There we go. Okay, that's much closer. So I did it on this purple, partially because the only couple of blues that I had were sort of murky blues, and there was enough sadness around Anne Frank's life that I didn't want to give that impression. And then purple, because this is for my Stitch Asia piece, purple in several Asian cultures is a color that represents hope. And if anyone represents hope, it's Anne Frank. So sometimes there is an actual personal, like, thought process and meaning that goes into it. And then other times it's just, oh my god, this would be so pretty on it. So I hope that helps. Linda Newcomb asks if my grandmother is okay in the assisted living location. It depends on what you mean by okay. If you mean, is she safe and is it a secure and is it a good facility? Yes. Is she happy about it? It depends on the hour. Yeah, that's about the easiest and least complicated answer I can give you. Deborah Dixon suggested doing a Wizard of Oz whip parade, and that's actually a really good idea. I will probably plan to do that after I finish Satsuma. There is, however, if you're curious and interested, on my Garrett of Oz channel, there is, last year for the Wizard of Oz convention, I did a slideshow presentation of the Wizard of Oz cross-stitch charts up through that point. At least the ones that I had and was aware of. It does not include any of the Bucilla stuff, because that's like a whole separate, like, you could do a full presentation on that. So if you want to check that out, you definitely can, but I will try to plan for one on this channel at some point. Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. There are some people that have finished this casting a spell as a sampler. Highly recommend looking it out. Because it's literally just, it's basically the box with a little bit added to it. It's, it's pretty cool. So I'm digging it. And you'll see what I did a little bit here in a few moments. Anne Musso asks, which movie or book is about Winkies? They are new characters to me. The Winkies are the people who live in the western country of Oz. They're the ones that are actually enslaved by the Wicked Witch. There isn't one that's a book specifically about the Winkies, but there are Winky characters from that country who are major players in other books. Lost Princess of Oz spends a lot of time in the Winky country. The Tin Man does become emperor of the Winkies. So, and Scarecrow moves to the Winky country after Ozma assumes the throne. And Jack Pumpkinhead lives there too. So several major players live there. There's a lot that goes on there. But none that are specifically just about Winkies. I'm about to sneeze. Hang on. Okay. One more time? No. Okay. She says that she's interested in Artisan's website. I assume you're meaning the Aurifil Artisans, and it's actually just a section of the Aurifil website. It's a program that you can sign up for each year, and then we're supposed to do like an Instagram takeover. We're supposed to promote it on our our social media pages that we use for this. So I promote it obviously here and on Instagram. But there's not really an actual web page for it. Cassandra McGraw brings up a wonderful point about specifically the casting of spellblocks, but in general, that she bought it years ago and she doesn't shop at Hobby Lobby anymore. And my feeling in general is, if you've already bought it, they already have the money. So you're just kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. So it's one thing if you already owned it and then sort of find out the terrible things about the company. If you choose to still use it, I have no problem with that. There are things that I've used that, or bought, or places that I've been to that I don't go anymore because I found out what they're like, but I'm not going to waste my money. In fact, no, they're not over there. Somewhere in the house, I've got a pair of ruby slipper ornaments, and another set of other Oz ornaments that came from Hobby Lobby before all of the Icky came out. So don't feel bad about that. I haven't completely decided what I'm gonna do with my weeks. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to handle that. So, Michelle asks, good old Bendy Stitchy asks, which designer would you absolutely drop everything if they would make you drop absolutely everything if they designed an Oz piece? Well, up until this time recently, it would have been Satsuma Street, but she's done one now. Well, done a full one now. She'd already done Emerald City. I'd like to see what the Pumpkins might do with just Wizard of Oz, because I do like their style. But the one that I'm still waiting on is one from you, Michelle. Let's see. Jane Gentry asks, have I thought about putting the Good Witch in the place of the Wizard? Okay, so that's a good question. I did figure out what I want to do for the centerpiece. However, I need 4 other colors of silk lame braid that I don't have. So and they're going to have to be ordered for me, most likely. Oliver hasn't had a chance to pull colors yet. So I can't quite finish it just yet, but I did figure out what's going to go in the center. The reason I opted not, and I'm not putting the Good Witch in, partially because Jodi's style is so... I hate to say the word specific, because everyone's style is specific to them, but her style is unique enough that I'm not sure I could capture... I'm not sure I could capture it correctly and have it look like it belongs with the rest of the piece. So what I've come up with is going to work, and I think it's going to look great. It's just a matter of I don't have the stuff to finish with yet. But part of it was that. Part of it was the way she balanced the piece symmetrically, because there's a witch in the top, there's a witch in the bottom. You've got the 4 friends on one side, 4 friends on the other side. If I put a witch in the middle, I couldn't figure out how to make it work symmetrically and with what she had planned. And I did look at actually moving the 4 friends to the centerpiece and putting the wizard and his balloon over, and I couldn't make that fit. That was just too cluttery. So... it is what it is. All right, so that is the Q&A. As always, I do love Q&A. Feel free to drop them down below. All right, so my tiny little bit of haul comes from Abby Bella Stitch. Not Abby Belly, Abby Bella Stitch. I can talk. This was a giveaway on her Instagram back at Christmas. And it is, so I got Strawberry Band Sampler from Hillside Samplings. Cute little band sampler with the strawberries, and it came with a strawberry button. So it uses a couple of different interesting things, but it was cute, and I liked it, and I like strawberries, and it kind of goes with an apron that I've got, so that came in. That was my haul. Okay, so because I can't get immediately started really on Emerald City to finish it, I decided I'm just going to go back to my regular rotation. So 3 days, 500 stitches. I looked at my Whip Go goals that I fell by the wayside while I was struggling with June and July. So 2 of them I went ahead and marked off my list as being already done, which was 3 Sal parts, which was for Satsuma Street, because I definitely did 5. Yeah, I've done 5 of the 6 parts. And then 500 stitches on the whip that was furthest from being finished. And I've gotten 500 in for sure on Alice in Wonderland. So I went ahead and cleared those off. So what's left? 500 stitches on closest finish, 300 stitches on a border, 300 I need to get in touch with her, with 300 stitches on a whip chosen by Cassandra, 300 stitches on a whip chosen by Rob/Zav Stitches, and he picked Strawberry Fields Are Forever, so I'll show you that in a moment. 400 stitches on my largest whip, and 400 stitches on a Christmas whip. So I had to figure out what I've got to get my, Lizzie Kate one back out and do my 400 stitches on that. And then that'll catch me up. Yay! I also still have 3 FFOs to do. Alright, so that's where we are with WhipGo. So what did I work on this week? That is a great question, y'all. Okay, so Sunday I finished up, well, Sunday into Monday, because I finished it early on my lunch break at work on Monday. I finished up the next part, or this part of, let's use this to help with the color balance. So there we go. I don't know if I mentioned or not, for Dorothy's skin, I'm actually using one of Ymir's silks for Dorothy's skin tone. But there they are, minus the backstitching hair and the clouds. So there's my little Toto as Phoebe, which turned out super cute. So I worked on that. So really all that's left is I've got the one rainbow section and the center. And I will need to actually deconstruct part of this kit because there's stuff that I no longer need that will be needed for cryptids. And this one here actually needs to go for Alice, because I don't need it for her skin tone. Yay! Okay. So there's you. Then I worked on, as you saw, but I'll bring it out and show again. I worked on Anne Frank. Did not get a lot done on it. This one was since this was my late week, there's some things that didn't get a whole lot of love. So there's the full pattern. I guess really it's what did I work on the last 2 weeks. Yeah, there were a couple of nights where I was just too tired to function, so I didn't. So once again, here's where I am on her. So I got the chimney stack done. I got the bookcase done. That was really kind of it. So she will go away until the wheel is spun again. Which there's going to be a wheel reset tomorrow, or tonight. Tomorrow, I guess, technically. Alright. I worked on Alice in Wonderland from Owl Forest. That's what I'm going to keep working on today. So I've got... So I have half of part 1 done. I have the start of part 2, and then I've got a good portion of part 3 done. So that's where I'm at on those. So what I'm doing, this one's one that I'm using all Aurifil on, except for I'm doing the borders in hand-dyed. So, yeah, so here's where I'm at. So I've got, well, and I'm going to have some grinding too. So I've got what's left of this part. I've got to finish out the tree. I've got a little bit of border, and then I've got a little bit on the rabbit, and then we'll start working our way back down. So this is probably as far as I'm going to carry the border, because it goes all the way along the top. So I'm probably going to work on the border as I go, or as there's more up here. So then we've got border down the side that we'll work on. So that's Alice. At work, let's see, my work project this week was Little Women. Working on part 2. So here's where part 2 was. I have the full pattern, but since this is the part we're working on. So there's part 2. And I made some pretty good progress, actually. I got a good portion. I got the roof is already done. I'd finished that. So I got all the windows, the door, and all that done, and I'm starting it on the wall here. So working our way towards filling in the house. And I'm doing it sort of where I do one strand of one color, and then I come back and do house fill in, and then one strand of a color, and then come back and do the house fill in. So I'm kind of thinking, even though I signed up for it and I'll have it, I'm honestly kind of thinking I probably will not do The Great Gatsby. I know she's designing it for black fabric. I really don't enjoy stitching on black. I know there will be an alternative colorway. But it's also a book I just really don't want to read. So I'm thinking I may skip Gatsby to finish out Little Women, and that would probably be a good chance to finish out, see if I can maybe catch up on some of the ones that I didn't finish. Because I didn't finish Pride and Prejudice, and I didn't finish Frankenstein. So I may keep going on those just to see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. She may tease us with Gatsby, and I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, no, I have to stitch this. If I do black, I will definitely be doing Black Ada, to make my counting easier. Alright, so, let's see, I worked on casting a spell. Or started it. That was what I was starting when I last left y'all. And this is on, oh, I haven't been telling you what the fabrics were. I'm sorry. So, Emerald City, or Wizard of Oz, the Satsuma Street Wizard of Oz is on Willow from Deerfoot Fabrics. Eccentric Sky from Fortnite is what, Little Women's on. Something Autumn is what Alice is on. Hang on, I can look it up and tell you. And it's by X Jude. Charming Autumn. So this one's color name is Texas Wildflower. So here is what I started. So I'm using the Aurifil Black for the black. It gives great coverage, y'all. The 12 weight black gives fantastic coverage. I'm using Threadworks Poppies for the one of the oranges. I'm using the purple from Deerfoot Fabrics for the purple, and then a gold from Aurifil. So that's where we are. Really, really loving how this is turning out, and I'm so excited to go back to it and get 3 days in on it. The Quirky Quaker Cryptids from Darling and Whimsy. I believe that's... Darling and Whimsy? I'm almost positive it is. Yes, Darling and Whimsy. So this is on Mayflowers from Deerfoot Fabrics. And I did the Yeti. I did some changes to it, color-wise, just to make it a little more wintry. And I used Whisper on the Yeti. It doesn't really show up here, but I used Whisper on him so he'd be fuzzy. But there's our little Yeti. So we've got a Yeti and a unicorn. So we've just got Nessie and Bigfoot left. So I'll do Nessie next, and then Bigfoot after. And then we'll have a nice little Quaker Cryptid quadrangle. That's not the right word, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so one of the more surprising changes that has happened, I decided quilts just did not speak to me all the last time I worked on it. So I'm replacing quilts with Night Walked Down from the Blue Flower. There's the pattern. I'm doing it in basically the called for colors. I think there's a couple that I swapped with. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the border for sure yet or not. But here's where I was the last time I worked on it. And this is on Demeter's Harvest from Die Stitch Love, which is no longer around, unfortunately. So that's where I'm at on that. So it replaced quilts. Okay, then I worked on chickens. Didn't get a whole lot done. Asher was being a bit of a toot that night, so I was more than a little distracted. I also wanted to start on the Legos friend's apartment, which is behind me here. So I got a little bit done on the chickens, but not much. Not really anything to write home about, at least. But I'm looking forward to when it comes back out. right, so a couple other things still. Beatrix Potter, which I did work on this last week, and it's a counting nightmare is this piece. So her arm is all kind of janky, and I'm not sure where it got off, and so there we go. I got one evening in, but her outline is done. So, and I know height-wise, she's off a row, so I have to put an extra row in between her head and the snails that are above her head, which is a very weird phrase to say. And it's the one by Primitive Hare. So this was a restart. It's on, I think this is I think that was Grandma's Stuffing. Deep fried from Fortnite Fabrics. And here's the full pattern. Which, if I didn't know better, I would actually swear that I was stitching up Aunt Lydia from The Handmaid's Tale. Which, wouldn't that be a horrifying cross-stitch pattern? Or person to immortalize? Although, God love Anne Dowd. She's remarkably good in that. I love her. Not that she would, but if they ever did an American remake of Keeping Up Appearances, I would kill to see her as Hyacinth, because her diction is, and just the tone of her voice is just so perfect. So Woodland Faerie I worked on, and we got some pretty metallics done to it. So it's a little hard to tell. That sort of bright multicolor piece, and then the dark red. So here and here is what I got in the last time. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. So she's gonna be pretty when she's done. I hope. Part of me kind of thinks maybe I should have oriented her the other way on the fabric. But that's okay. But I'll be glad when I have her done, because there are some other mirrors that I want to work on, including, now that it's out of print, I really want to work on, do Gathering Eggs, because that was the first one I ever fell in love with, and now she's retired, so I feel like I should. Alright, and then last but not least, we've got Strawberry Fields Forever, which is my one that Rob chose. And I've got to do 300 stitches on it. So it's by Blackbird Designs. Rest in peace, Alma. Wait, it was Alma who passed. No, it was Barb. Barb passed, not Alma. I'm so sorry. I just killed Alma, and I didn't mean to. Barb passed. So here's where it is. My plan, as I think I mentioned, was that each strawberry is going to be a different specialty stitch, and I'm probably going to break it down by strawberry color, so it won't be like all the different strawberries will be all different, but it'll be like all of the dark red will be this kind, and all of the pink will be this kind. So I've got, this is where I'm at on this one. This one's on Winterbrook from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'll do this way so you can actually see. So that's where I'm at on it. So the goal this time will be to get the house finished, and maybe get started in. I'm gonna do the bricks and specialty stitches too. Get the brick, the gate maybe. done. I've been kind of working this one like in quadrants. So, minus of course the house, because it's big and will take a while. So, yes. So that's that one. And then who knows, this one may stay in the rotation, this one may not. We'll see what happens. But that brings us to the end. So I'm going to upload this. I'm going to work some more on Alice. We'll see how far we get today. And then we'll spin the wheel tomorrow and we'll see what happens. Anyhow, I hope everyone has a terrific week. I don't know if I'll be back this next Sunday or if it'll be, I kind of dig this every other week thing. So I may just be doing it every other week from now on. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to do a quick little edit, so, to take out that gross. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do like I like this sort of every 2-week thing. It's going to depend on if I feel like I've got enough to say if I do it every week or not, I guess. We'll see. Anyhow, I will see you all next time. Bye!